Okay, streaming is on, so I can continue my chatting here. Good morning, everybody. Actually, this is Patricia and David, and it's relatively calm outside at the moment, but boy, did we have a really, really stormy early morning here. So I was pleased to get on the radio and find that our receive antenna was still up. It was a bit dark to see, and it's too damn cold to go outside. It has dropped to, well, it was 16 before, it's risen to 17. But certainly our lovely warm temperatures, it actually got to 22 degrees here yesterday. I mean, for the end of May, that's totally stunning. But 17 this morning with about a 12 to 17 knot westerly. The bar is really rocketing up 1011.1 at the moment, rapidly climbing. So there is going to be a lot of wind around. It's just not very pleasant for those trying to leave, and certainly those that tried to leave yesterday or did in fact leave found out what the conditions were like. We've had quite a few interesting reports from boats coming in. I know Eye Candy is there, and I'd just like to know where Lucy is. Andrew, could you give a call to Lucy, please? Over.
Yeah, he was calling about to go. Can you talk about that? Yeah, good copy. Give me your position, please,
He should be in Ikua, but he's had that terrible weather, so...
Okay, so you're 5 miles north of the 9 pins. Your report, what the conditions are?
He's almost in.
Okay, clear conditions, good passage, and congratulations on arrival. Patricia, anything else you want, Anna?
No, we were just worried about what happened when the front went through. What were his worst winds and conditions when the front went through, over?
Lucy, what were the worst conditions you got during the front, over? Okay, they're 60 miles west of Cape Reinga. They got just to 40 knots and 35 sustained for a period of 6 hours. Patricia, anything else?
No, that's all. Thank you very much, and wish him happy landfall from us as well, over.
Yeah, and you're getting a wishing happy landfall to Lucy, and Lucy, thank you for your family to Patricia, over.
Thank you for that. Yep, yeah, we were a bit concerned about him up there because it's quite, well, the sea gets quite choppy, as you know, where the Tasman meets the rest of it. So he got up to, 60 miles west of Cape Reinga. He got 40 knots and 35 sustained for a while. So, well, he would have been ready for that, and he's used to that particular area. Okay, thank you for that. I'll just see if there's anybody else at this point in time wanting to check in with their conditions. There was somebody there. Who was it? Oh, that's better, Chris. Go ahead.
Yeah, position 2028, 176, 41 east, speed 6.8, easterly wind 5 knots, course 0 magnetic, continuous flat. I got about 10% cloud cover. Yeah, good sailing. Thank you.
Wow. That's a perfect conditions for a catamaran, that's for sure. All right, so very light winds, easterly 5 and flat seas. I thought you'd be going a bit higher than that, 6.8. There's no wind. All right, 6.8 with easterly 5. I suppose that's pretty acceptable, isn't it? At 2028 and 17641 east. Thank you for that. All right, we'll pick up anybody else shortly. Just a little bit of news. We are still in the countdown here in New Zealand for the 5 millionth tick over for the people. It's interesting, 1982, 70 million sheep and 3 million people. And 2019, we have 27 million sheep, of all things, 5 million people. So it's been kind of a change for David when he first arrived, the number of people and the number of sheep. Fortunately, when back in 1982, the sheep didn't drive cars, whereas we do, and there's a big difference. Okay.
They couldn't do any worse than most of the drivers here.
Do any worse than most of the drivers, he reckons. All right. And if you've got nothing to do while you're waiting for a decent passage window, folks, you could go to Sydney for the weekend. The annual Vivid Festival is on. This is the one that they light up the Opera House with all sorts of wondrous things. This year it was done by a guy from LA, and it's all sort of flowing native plants and sea anemones and stuff like that. It goes to June the 15th. It's on my bucket list to do. One of these days we'll actually get over there, but it's kind of in the middle of the New Zealand time, so it's a bit difficult. But the Opera House looks absolutely fantastic, and a lot of the buildings around the Opera House light up as well, so it's quite spectacular. And it's still, well, often is quite warm there, but the lower part of Australia has been hit by a real cold snap at the moment, so you need to rug up well to see it at night time. Talking about harbours, the Auckland Harbour Bridge here is 60 tomorrow, and they're celebrating that by starting work on a pedestrian and cycle track. I tell you what, I wouldn't have liked to have been there early this morning when we got our very strong gusts. I hope they put a big cage around that, because it certainly will need it in some of our rather nasty winds. Over in Japan, a man went berserk for some reason, nobody knows why, in Kawasaki. He just wandered up to a bus stop where there were people, and mostly schoolgirls actually. He wielded two knives and started hacking into people. Killed 2 or 3, it's uncertain at the moment, but certainly a lot of them are in hospital. He then stabbed himself, which was very convenient, so I suppose it all finished well. Garbage. Well, Asian countries are taking a really hard line now on all the garbage that we Westerners send them, which is meaning that we are getting a lot more conscious of the amount of garbage that we produce. The Philippines, Indonesia, Vietnam and Malaysia all have legislation now to stop importing garbage. They are now carefully checking containers that come in, and they've just returned 5 containers to Spain. And the Philippines and Canada are arguing over about 1,500 tonne that came in illegally in 2013-2014. It's getting quite heated between the two of them. You don't really want to cross the Prime Minister, or whatever he calls himself, of the Philippines at the moment. He's worse than Mr. Trump for blowing his stack. Anyway, what else have we got here? Well, this may not affect you people, but I got an interesting email. We have a TomTom GPS, and we got this email to say that we need to recalibrate. Now, ours is out of date, and we don't normally get updates, but evidently there's this thing called a GPS week number rollover. It's called the GPS WNRO, and it occurs every 19 years, and it occurred this year on the 6th of April. It's sort of like when cars, reach 99,999, they go back to zero. Well, evidently, every 19 years, the GPS calendar goes to zero. I didn't actually know they had a calendar, but anyway, they do. And this can cause a miscommunication between the GPS satellites and the GPS receiver chips. It's a result of some chips in the sat-nav. They lose the ability to process certain functions. So I wonder, we've got this gizmo that brings in the satellite, the weather information. It gives you the satellite picture of the weather, visual picture, and the GPS is kaput, and it might be that's the reason why. But anyway, if you have a problem with your GPS, it might mean that it is affected by this rollover, and all you have to do is recalibrate it. God knows how you do that. But anyway, that's what you could do. There's the teachers' strike on in New Zealand today. Usually every few years they decide they need more money. They seem to forget that they have an awful lot of holidays. But anyway, we do need to encourage teachers because there is a shortage of them. Their basic salary here is $70,000, which is actually considerably more than what the median Walmart rate is. Walmart, in the US, and they have millions and billions of people all over the world, but their median annual rate, is just under $22,000 a year, and that's the median. I hate to think what the lowest person is getting. Their AGM is coming up, I think this week. It's going to be quite a fiery one because executive pay is high on the agenda, and Bernie Sanders has been, he's had them in his sights for a long time. Their CEO gets $23.6 million annually. So, based on the $22,000 that his staff get on average, that's kind of an obscene difference, isn't it? But anyway, there's lots of reasons why they think he's worth that. A lot of it is incentive payments, which of course means he's going to make the salaries not go up very high at all. So that's the story there. I just wanted to give you a few bits of information from the boats that are on their way. Quite a few interesting reports this morning. As you know, there were quite a few that left Minerva, and reasonable conditions. A bit of motoring had to be done, of course, because of the wind direction. Exocet Stripe are reporting, and they're at 20 south and about the date line. They've now got a bit of wind picking up, 11 to 12 from the northeast, 060 true, and a little bit of cloud, and it's drizzling there. And pretty similar for Lupan, that are in much the same conditions.
Weak trough.
The weak trough is what's causing that. A few small squalls overnight. For them, seas are pretty good though, 1 metre northeast, so pretty good for anybody leaving Minerva today and tomorrow, and in fact the next day as well. And just to answer your question, snotty is definitely more challenging than sporty conditions. We don't mind sporty because it gives us something to do, but snotty, definitely not. And Makushla up there in the Coro Seas area, approaching Savu Savu, where it's very flat, calm. He's 5 miles from the entrance. Good morning, Mark. And he'll be pleased to get there. Have a good snooze. And he's motoring into Savu Savu, so get ready for that. Flying fish at Port Resolution in Tanna. Calm, clear, and no swell. So that's good for anybody heading towards the Anchorage to make the trip up the mountain. And he sent a picture actually, and it looks rather pleasant. Blue sky, which is not. Oh, yeah, we've got a bit of blue sky here today, so that weather has ripped through here rather successfully, which is good. A report here from Savu Savu. In fact, 80% cloud cover. Thanks, Jeff. Overnight showers and 1013 up there. Who else have we got here? Alchemy 2, they're at 2338 and 178 to almost 179 west. They're going to leave for Tongatapu today from North Minerva, so that's good. And everyone seems fairly happy except for those that had to return yesterday after a bit of damage from leaving New Zealand. It really was not a day to leave New Zealand. Very sad that people actually decided to leave, but I guess everybody makes up their own mind on that one. Just a very snotty day with gusts and wind on the nose. Okay, is there anybody wanting to give, I think we've got pretty much everyone except Quintessa. Anybody, oh, Kaya as well. Any of you two wanting to give a report, please call now. Good day, Alan, go ahead.
Yeah, Roger. I'm just sitting outside the reef, waiting for a bit more light, just a bit south of Amity.
Oh, okay, so you'll be going into Amity shortly when the light comes. What are your conditions, over?
I'll be going through the farm to the south of Amity, and that's why I need some light. So, yeah, no markers or lights on it. And conditions are flat, calm, had a shift of wind from southwest to southeast just 3 hours ago.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know that pass. We went in there once too. Although you certainly need it light. It's not all that big. Southwest to southeast, 2 hours ago, and very calm. So sounds nice. Are you going to make your way up today, or have a rest before you go up? Over.
Probably have a rest. I want to another tomorrow.
Roger that. Okay. All right. Well, have a good rest and get the boat back to relaxed time, and we'll hear from you when you get moving again. What did you say, David?
Nice conditions.
Nice
today.
conditions today. Oh, excellent. All right. Very nice in the
Tomorrow too.
Southern Lagoon as well as tomorrow. All right. Do we have Kaya on frequency? Nothing heard there. All right, we will move to the weather, and if anybody has got anything else, we'll talk to you shortly. And thanks for Citrus Tart. A lovely day much nicer day up there in the Bay of Islands today. Yes, I haven't even checked here what it's going to do, but it certainly has been rather tumultuous here. Okay, here's David.
Good morning, everybody. I'm laughing because Trisha's watching me yawn. Not because of you, sweet pea. Anyway, it sounds like a bit of mayhem for a few yachts that left yesterday from the islands. Funnel ban and pretty strong winds took hold as forecast. I've got another band coming up the country today, actually up there in the Bay of Islands. It's what I would call a sucker day. It's very light air, winds, if there are any up there, maybe out of the southwest. It actually looks perfect, but it's not going to last for today. But anyway, there is another band that's coming up the country, and the active front that is with all this is going to be with us tomorrow, and then another on Friday. And in fact, Friday, I believe we'll be seeing about 35 to 40 knots from the west with pretty rough seas. And actually, a broad trough is expected to stall over New Zealand and do some intensification on Saturday. So it'll probably mess up our Sunday shooting, but that seems to be normal. Now, folks, please take a look yourselves as to what is forecast and make your own decisions. I'm addressing the rally people. Rallies, they don't make you safe. Seems like they do. The herd mentality, I suppose. Yesterday was not a good idea, as we've been mentioning, actually. Many of you left anyhow. 6 models had forecast strong winds, in addition to New Zealand Met's forecast and various warnings that they had out, but people went anyhow. So let's take a look at what's going to happen here late today. Headwinds will be in store just to the north. Now, it's nice now, but just give it till this afternoon or around dinner time, and as you get north a little bit, you're going to find yourselves with these headwinds. And then on Friday, as you truck along, there is a frontal band that's going to come through at about 3 a.m. on Friday. That'll come through the Okua area as well. And you can expect then, looks like, again, maybe 35 to 40 knots, as was mentioned previously, along with heavy rain. And that wind direction will be north-northwest. Then goes west to maybe southwest from New Zealand up to 33 south. And longer range implies Monday and Tuesday to be fairly settled for those of you that are still here, getting ready to go. Southerly quadrant winds in the 15-knot range. However, GFS does differ somewhat on what I just said, but we'll have to see what happens in the next few days. So for those of you still here, still in New Zealand, stay tuned, and we'll keep you informed the best we can. I forgot to mention this. This actually is aimed at you newbies, you new cruisers, new to boating, new to the whole thing. And it's a strong recommendation. So please, before you leave New Zealand, look very carefully at the New Zealand Met site. Fish around the site, and you'll see in red headers all the warnings that New Zealand Met is putting out. In particular, look at the subtropical high seas forecast. This covers an area of about 25 south to 40 south and 160 east to 170 west. So it covers pretty much the entire cruising route and includes New Zealand as well, the north part of New Zealand. So, in fact, if you look, you'll see gale warnings for this area, which of course does encompass the cruising route from New Zealand to the islands. And yesterday, it showed that frontal band moving southeast at 30 knots. And that's the band itself. That's the actual axis of the band moving 30 knots. That's just the speed of the front. Never mind the winds that are in the front, which, as we know, have gotten up to 40 knots. So the message is it pays to look. All the data is there for you. It's free. So you just have to look at it. Okay, up to Minerva now, and for the next, well, let's just say for the few that are still there, satellite imagery shows a fair amount of cloud in and around Minerva. Of course, it comes and goes fast. So by the time I say this, there'll be another set of images that come through. And John up there has talked about the cloud that he sees. So there you go on that. There is a trough that does extend north from our little small depression to the east of New Zealand. And that trough extends up, providing cloud for the Minerva area. But the winds in Minerva should be light and variable. In fact, the reports do indicate that. Later today, they may firm up, maybe southeast at about the 10 knot range. And it looks like a pretty good day also en route to Tonga or Fiji regarding wind direction. Now, Thursday looks quite nice approaching either group, east to east-southeast winds in the 15 knot range. In fact, I see winds 10 to 15 through the weekend. So there you go. It sounds fairly decent to get moving from Minerva, or if you're up in the 24, 25 degree latitude area, sounds pretty good for you. Now, be aware that the wind direction by Saturday is going to become cyclonic. So the winds are not going to be trade winds, and this includes Minerva. They're going to be probably westerly quadrant winds. Light, though, probably about 10 to 15. So expect that, and the reason for it, of course, is the complex depression that is attacking New Zealand. Okay, so we'll look at Tonga now. Tonga Met has canceled all of the warnings. Strong wind, the heavy swell, the small craft. So today, expect east to northeast about 10 to 15. The seas fairly flat, maybe getting up to 2 meters. I doubt that. But that depends on your location. But we do have an easterly swell, a nice low swell rolling in about 2, maybe getting up to 3 meters. Fiji Met or Tonga Met claims. Tomorrow, east to southeast winds 10 to 15. Now, barometric pressure in Tonga Tapu, for you folks that are there, take a look at your barometers. 1015.5, 1015.5. And the relative humidity is way up there, 96.96%. Well, that's keep you moisturized. Satellite imagery shows nice blue skies as the trough is moved pretty much to the east. Looks like it's over Niue at the moment. There is a band between Tonga and Fiji. There'll be some residual cloud in all of this. So you're in the tropics, so you could expect clouds to pop up virtually at any time. Now over to Fiji, where the synoptic charts show very little pressure gradient over Fiji. Satellite imagery shows very little cloud as well. So my wind forecast by lunch today is for easterlies, getting up to maybe 15 knots in the eastern half of the group and east-southeast for the western half. And tomorrow east-southeast to southeast up to about 15 knots When I say up to, it could be a lot less than that. And Friday, we're back to easterlies, and we may also see some east-southeast, and they'll be in the 10 to 15 knot range. Over in Vanuatu, satellite imagery shows broken cloud. North of Santo, these clouds look rain-bearing to me, and there are more of them compared to the rest of Vanuatu. Winds by lunch for the group east-southeast to southeast in the 15 knot range. Thursday, mostly east-southeast, up to 15 knots as well. So with these cloudy intervals that we're going to get up there, there is a chance of light showers from the central to the northern areas. Down south, it's cold down there. 18 C nighttime temperature at Lenakai down there in Tana. A bit chilly. Again, that's why they like their blankets. Sea's not too bad, probably about a meter. Newcal had quite a bit of cloud moving through earlier, but now on imagery it looks pretty good. So expect plenty of sun, partly cloudy conditions is all. Winds east-southeast, maybe getting up to 10 knots in the southern lagoon. Tomorrow, east to east-southeast, again less than 10 knots probably, but watch out for a wind shift on Friday, possibly southwesterlies. They'll be fairly light, maybe in the 10 knot range, but with that, a pretty good chance of showers for lovely Newcal. Okay, that's it for me. Any questions, comments, whatever, come now, and I'll pass it over to the chief.
Well, that was short and sweet. It's good when things are all settling down and every model is sort of agreeing, give or take. Anybody with anything, and I'm looking outside, clear skies. So tomorrow and today look a bit decent for us here in New Zealand. It looks pretty good up there in Whangarei as well. So anybody with anything, please call. Still haven't heard from Vanuatu. Messatroy. About time you people got up a bit earlier. Quite a few people in Vanuatu this year. All right, it doesn't sound as if there's anybody else. Actually, Andrew, if you are close to the radio, if you could give a call for any boats that want to give a report that are in our skip, please. Over.
That's when we really code for the radio. Anybody else like to take it up?
Thank you very much. And yes, it looks like I might be on the Hamnet again today. Our man in Puhoi, who is just up the road from here, his antennas succumbed to our strong winds before and snapped in two. So that's what I'll be doing later. Okay, folks, enjoy your day. It looks like there'll be a few people packing their bags and getting sorted with the dinghy on the deck and so on to get from Minerva northwards, wherever you're going, Tongatapu or Fiji. So have a good sail, and we will be back again tomorrow. Thanks for the reports, everybody. This is Gulf Harbour Radio, and we are clear. Oh, thanks, Chris. Trigger, go ahead with the relay.
Vessel calling Gulf Harbour, vessel calling Gulf Harbour, Trigger, my relay. Sure, Paul. Not say vessel name again, over. Red curve. Negative, repeat, please. Red curve. French curve, copy, position over. We're put on a little getting ready to depart for Fiji right now. Getting ready to depart for Fiji. Copy, anything else, over? No, that's it, thank you. No problem, copy.
Yes, I did, and I did copy French. I still haven't got the second word, so I left it with you to see if I could find the French. Sounds like French curl. I'm surprised we've got good propagation to Tuvalu, and you're on your way. So that's good to know that we are heading out there. I don't know why I didn't pick you up. Just give me the second word again, please. Over. Curve, is that Charlie Uniform Romeo Victor Echo? Over. All right, French Curve. Oh, that's an interesting one. All right, so yeah, good strong signal from you. What's it like in Tuvalu? Over.
Pretty calm right now. There's probably 5 knots south east and
Oh, that sounds nice. I could stay there. You've probably been listening to some of the snotty weather we've been dealing with further in your direction of travel. So that's good. Thank you very much. And thanks, Trigger, for picking them up. Not sure why I didn't hear that, but at least we've got them. All right. Cheers, everybody.
That's good. That's good. I can.
Hi, Jamie. How are you?